friends. Welcome to the Overcomers, a movement and a group of people who have overcome, and they've got a story. That's what the Overcomers is all about. You sharing your story. Why? Because there is power in your story, and people need you. They need your voice. They need your story of hope, faith, and inspiration that where they're at right now is not the end. They need to know if you can overcome, so can they. Today, I'm excited to share with you another story of one such overcomer. So let's go check out who it is. I'm here today with my awesome friend, Melikia Courtney. Melikia, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here with you because you're amazing. Amazing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. A few things about my friend Melikia, in case you don't know her, like I just had the pleasure of getting to know her. Melikia is the mom to multiples from Chicago, Illinois. She's overcome a lot in her journey, from domestic violence to abuse, trauma, and so much more. She's a serial entrepreneur who's been involved in countless things, from sales to corrections and behavioral health. She sat on boards and is a soundboard for startup companies. And now she speaks on domestic violence too. She's an avid adventurist who you might find jumping from a plane or kayaking with crocodiles. But what I'm blown away most by with you, Melikia, is that despite everything that you've been through, how much passion, confidence, and peace you carry. When we met in the hot tub at the last conference, I love that we met in the hot tub, by the way.
That's awesome.
I felt so honored getting to hear your story because I immediately saw a powerful woman who continues to choose to show up and is making a difference in this world for so many lives and women already. You prove that we are so much stronger than we think we are, and that strength can come from a place of peace, no matter how much trauma you have been through. So, Melikia, I am so excited you are here with us today, and for everybody else to hear the journey that I got to hear just about a week ago. So tell us, how did you go from everything that you had been going through to where you are now to be operating in such a place of peace and power?
The first thing I'll say is God. That's the answer. We're going to take a quick round back. Let me say this. How hilarious that we got to hang out in the hot tub and really chop it up about a week ago. And we crossed paths, I think, maybe twice before, but we really never got the chance to kind of click in and have that conversation. And I kind of think it speaks to timing, right? And when it comes to everything that you mentioned, yes, I am a true maniac. I believe in falling out of planes with parachutes, attached if you're doing tandems, and crocodile kayaking in the middle of the night for the bioluminescence tours. Everybody should do it before they die, or go spider run. Do it. Live your life, and it really boils down back to the beginning. Your timing. I am a mom to multiples. I have 6. 3 girls, 3 boys. I decided that the Brady Bunch was for me. I just needed with this color on it. And I did it. Hallelujah. Right there. Bless God and all the moms with the multiples. My story, I'll start with where I shared with you because it's kind of the most recent thing. And I can say that, yes, when it comes to experiencing life, because I'm not the only one experiencing life. When it comes to experiencing trauma and pain, I am not the only person experiencing any of that, though at one point I really thought I was. And even in the situation when you're going through it, like the bathroom that we're about to talk about, in that moment, I felt like I was going through it alone. But back to the original answer, God, I was not. And here's what happened. The way I say this, I almost died for peeing while Black, and that's the simplest way to say it. I went to the bathroom. We all go to the bathroom. That's kind of an everyday thing. It's not brain surgery or science. Was in Union Station in Chicago. It was late. I had missed my train, planned on the 10:40, but I missed it. when and no real issue, I didn't freak out because there's always a 1240 that comes behind it. Well, yay, King COVID canceled that train. And the funny part is I had just taken that thing, not even a good 3 or 4 weeks before that. So I had no idea the train was canceled. Either way, officer comes in just as I get ready to do my girly thing, I'm all exposed and I'm about to go because I gotta go bad. I have been drinking tea, and detox tea and that. So I was like, let me hurry. Yeah, there's nothing like the moment when you hear someone begin to scream, right? Like in the bathroom, I can't see anything but the stall and what I'm about to do, but I hear someone yelling, and they are yelling aggressively, and they are screaming to the point where it is high pitch, like they have clearly lost it. And I'm trying to catch the words. So the words are, "Get out. What are you doing in there?" And I'm like, "Oh, this is to me. Yay." So I am being yelled at and gone off on and demanded out, threatened with arrest and all these other things, accused. And I mean, just anything, I guess, that poured into his mind, poured out of his mouth. And I'm sitting in there like, dear God. And of course, my question is what anybody else is going to ask: who are you? Why are you yelling at me? What are you doing in there? Well, duh, I'm in the ladies' bathroom. Kind of chances are I'm trying to take a piss. How about that? So let's be honest. So, however, and I can laugh a little bit about it now, but at the time I was not laughing. I was freaked out, like I'm fit to die for peeing while black. And he demands that I come out. Well, I can't till I do what I need to do. How about that? And thank God I did what I need to do, because when I came out of the door, open this I come out. For anyone who's worked law enforcement, you understand the next line. He dropped center. He like literally he dropped center, body hand straight to his weapon, and I am like flashing, praying, God, what? What do you say when you walk out and you are faced in that moment when this is that moment that if God does not step in, you are out of here and there is nothing that will be done. So in that moment, God is merciful and good and begins to tell me, we're going to talk. Okay, we're going to talk. I get to be in the puppet. What am I saying, God? Why are you yelling? Why are you in the ladies' bathroom? We do that game like 6 times. Why are you yelling? Why are you in the ladies' bathroom? Da, da, da. He finally lets go of his. And I'm like, hallelujah. But still, he's more standing up and he's moving his hand away. But I am not moving because I already know how this game goes. Not until he turns to walk away do I move. I went to go wash my hands, and I took a long time. Tried to come out of the bathroom, I couldn't. I went to go dry my hands because I needed a little bit more to get me together. Okay. He is still yelling. He's talking smack, smack, smack from outside the door. He's still clapping. So I come out. He gets to demanding all these other extra things that he wanted, and how did I get in and all this other stuff. And of course, he says some black comments. I saw you. I said, no, you did not see me. Well, I saw you when you came in. I said, well, if you saw me when I came in, then I was here. Then you didn't say anything then, and you knew I went to the bathroom. So help me here. And I said, no, you just saw another black face. That's what that was about. And he made a comment about homeless people, so that let me know that's how he's treating homeless people and Black people that come into Union Station, which I love and have been going to all my life. One of my favorite places on the planet that he tried to ruin for me, but I refused. And then fast forward, he asked me where I was going. And that was the magic question because I told him where I was going. I'm not saying on the show, but it's a pretty affluent suburb from Chicago. When he heard that, magically he stopped yelling at me. Wow. Magic. So I say all of that. That's just one story, right? So that we can pick it apart and find God. Because anytime you're going through anything, you better know how to find God fast. And it cannot be where you are, I can, let me rewind that because that's not true. It can be where you are in the moment and you need to call on God and you do, and God will respond. That you can put in the bank. But man, oh man, it's so much easier and calming to have a relationship with God and be able to tap into the God you already know and serve and say, help me. I don't want to die like this, not like this. And be guided and be instructed and hear from the Lord and know the voice of the Lord so that you can respond. Does it not help in life? Jen, does it not help in business? Can you not move more fluidly when you have God? sorry, acknowledging something. When you have God right there to reach to, that is that to me is the ultimate. So I'm gonna take a breath for a second.
You're good. You're good.
Let that be, because sometimes that the thought has to marinate.
Mhm.
Sometimes you need a minute to let that rest. So I'm gonna allow that minute for people to let that rest because it's a serious thing, love. Now, what did I have to do next? Well, I had to go. I didn't have to, but I chose to because there was no up and down way that I was going to walk away from that and not say anything. Darling, did I have panic attacks for the next 24 hours? Yeah. Did I have to go up in there by myself? And still put my big girl panties on and have a big girl conversation with his superiors and then write a 6-page report because I am that human. I wrote 6 pages to that lovely individual and all his humans around him so that they would understand this is not okay.
Mhm.
It's not okay. And there's nothing wrong with holding people accountable. There are instances where certain clients I've worked with, and then even behavioral health modifications background, certain patients that I work with, they never had that moment of restitution. Not that that was restitution, but they never had that moment to respond and speak for themselves. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people sit in that pain for their life, holding it and waiting for permission to speak up for themselves. And this is me giving you permission to speak up. Speak up. Say what you need to say, write what you need to write. Talk to you need to talk to. And there, of course, are instances where people are long gone dead and they're about their business and way. But even in that, someone can still respond. You respond as best you can. Period. Period. So for the next day I had a friend who I absolutely still love and adore. So please let me say that first. Hit me up, was gonna come meet me and go down to write this report. I waited. So I called. I don't know if I text or whatever, but I get called back. Hey, I can't come. Devastated. Because I'm like, okay, you have that moment where you thought you weren't gonna have to do this alone. Got somebody hold your hand, kind of walk along with you, and is it not life? Do we not deal with disappointment? Do we not have our friends that we look at cross-eyed and crazy sometimes when they don't show up for us? But what, Jen? But God. But God. That's what this conversation is going to be. I'm going to be pointing you to God left and right.
So
God,
good.
God. Go, God.
So how did you get to this point of being able to have that mindset in the midst of a very scary situation to even have the inclination to look up and be like, help me? How did you even get to that place to know that he was the one that was going to be there with you in that moment?
Let's take a story time. Story time. I have had practice. Life practice. Life practice, darling, because the smile I wear now is a grace by God. It's a merciful stroke. It's a merciful smile. And I'll use the report to kind of answer your question. When I went into the office to write that report, this is what I shared with them in my 6 pages. You never know who you're approaching. You never know who you're talking to, or like Bill says it, you never know who you're sitting next to. And Danny says that too. You never know who you're sitting next to. So what I shared with him was, you never know who you're approaching. I already did my work. I did my work to the tune of working through rape. I did my work to the tune of working through a marriage where my ex-husband decided that I didn't need to live anymore. That was his thoughts on it. Kind of verbalized it very plainly, so there was nothing left to the guess. I'm gonna kill you. I was like, oh, okay, great. In moments like that, Jen, you kind of learn to call on the living God because you need a living response right now, and that's what I had to have. I have lived that. I have lived that life of constant. Let me rewind and give credit to my mama. My mother did not play. She does not have like a divinity degree or any of that, but I tell you what, she know more Bible than most Bible folks that I know. And our days on the weekend, darling, guess what we were doing? It was nothing for us to break 12 hours off in prayer.
Hmm.
Nothing to do what the Bible said do. When we had issues in school, walk around that school and pray and speak to it. So we were reared putting the Bible into action, right? And listening for God and understanding that that is a friend. So drawing from the learning, from the foundation, you know what I mean? That's the response. And even though we learn all these other methods along the way, used to teach coping skills to children, still teach them to adults and some youth too. However, regardless of whatever coping skill you have learned and what you're able to implement in calm times when you meet those moments of crisis, sometimes, right? Sometimes you're not going to be able to fall into your muscle memory when you've moved into trauma, into spaces that will leave you with PTSD. In those spaces, you better bring some Holy Spirit. In those places, you better get some Holy Spirit and pull that in. How about that? So that is that's kind of what I shared with them in that, and hopefully that answers your question, Jen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's so amazing to me that you're able to look back and see why you have gotten to this place of realizing, okay, crazy stuff might still happen because that's life. But now you know how to operate through that crazy, and you're drawing on the way that you brought up and your amazing mom who instilled this in you just by her own decisions. And in return, now you've got this amazing place where you're able to stand in peace despite crazy circumstances and operate in that. So I know that there's a lot of people that are probably listening today who might be going through some of the stuff that you described in sharing just a little bit of your story. I know there's so much more we could get into.
Good job.
I
Good
hope we
job.
get the chance to do like a part 2 someday.
I'm
I have a
open to it.
hunch.
After I do the book launch, I'm open to it.
Yes, we should do that. Well, first, let me give you a chance to share about your book. Tell us about your book, if you're ready.
Book is called The Ladder: How to Escape the House of Domestic Violence.
Wow.
That's the
Wow.
title of the book. And literally, as the title speaks, I speak. And in that book, what I do is share again, but God, the things that I learned that helped me not only to cope, Jen, but to grow and to reframe how I was thinking, right? Get that stinking thinking out of there, to reframe the loops of language that were implanted by negative comments, negative things spoke over me, what happened with the ex, and anything else that happened along the way that just was not under the umbrella of who I am in God. And do we not need a moment to address that? And sometimes it's so subtle. Sometimes it's so subtle. Oh, you crazy. Oh, you so stupid. You silly. You mumble. Just slight things like little daggers. And we don't a lot of times take time to slow down and deal with those rocks. We deal with the bigger ones. You hit me. The heavier things. We tend to focus on that. But guess what? You can't leave any of it. And learning how to deal, right? Learning what works for you. And I teach specific things that the Spirit of God dropped right with me. Like, hey, listen, this is what you need to do. This is how you overcome that. This is how you stop the loop in your mind. This is how you address this person's opinion of you. And I love this sentence. Your opinion of me got nothing to do with me. Your opinion of me got nothing to do with me. That is you from your lens and what you've experienced, and you're speaking to you, though you're looking at me, and it may be directed in this way, but I get to decide how much of it I receive. I get to decide how heavy it hits me and how far it drags me down. I get to decide. And when I begin to understand, when I begin to understand the freedom, the authority that I had. Watch out, world. Watch out, world. It's a when you get your Holy Ghost gangster in place, it's a, it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling to be able to say, you're confused. I know exactly who I am. I know who I am becoming because
Mm.
I'm ever working towards becoming more like Christ, not like anybody else. I love my mentors. They are incredible. I have incredible leadership in my life. Thank God. But I ain't trying to be not neither near a piece of one of them. I'm not. I'm going to take their lessons in the same, and I bring this up right now because there will be people who are reading the book, and you may look at this and go, "Oh my God, I want to be." Pause. Be you.
Mhm.
Take the lessons, put it to practice. Don't be one of those humans that just grabs a book and let it sit there for 13 years and stay suffering when you don't have to. It's always a choice. It's always a choice, and I'm gonna give it back to you because I'm not jacking your show. So
This is fantastic. I love that you called it the Holy Ghost. What did you call the
gangster. When you get
gangster?
your Holy Ghost
The
gangster in
Holy
place,
Ghost
it's a whole new
gangster. That
playing
is
ground. And I am from the South Side of Chicago Trust. So I am one, I am a lady. My mother was a lady. Makeup, hair, nails, and jewelry. Never left the house without looking excellent. Still to this very day, she still stay on her beauty and just her womanhood. So I really respect that. But at the same time, y'all, I moved to the hood and I learned hood ways too. So you you do well to learn how to fight. You know what I mean? You do well to learn how to fight in the spirit, like I mentioned to you earlier
Ooh,
today. When that happened earlier, that was like 15 minutes before we began. That's a shutdown moment. And I'm
yeah.
like, okay, this is a fight. I am clearly in a fight. I'm clearly in a fight, but how do I respond? I put that praise and worship on. Let's go.
So good.
About to go.
So
How we
good.
gonna fight
So
today?
I know there's somebody listening today that is in a fight right now. Maybe they are themselves being abused. Maybe they're dealing with domestic violence. What
Mhm.
would you say to that person listening right now? What one piece of advice would you want to say to them right now?
I would say first, I love you. I may not even know you, seen you, breathed on you, but I love you. And how can I love you? I can love you. I can love you through understanding. I can love you through experience. I can love you through who Christ is. And for those who don't even understand who Christ is, I can love you through universe. I can love you through meta. I can love you through space and time and breath. I love you. You're not alone. You're not alone. And the great thing about it, look at the times now, Jen. Look how things have grown. Look at how many resources have been put in place. Is it what we fully need? Nah, but it's growing, and there are answers. Because when I was in that space, I stayed longer than I would have normally for two reasons. One was financial, and the other was the pressure of the people around me
Mhm.
who threatened to excommunicate me and not, you'll be a girl. I had a fun ride if I chose divorce because that was not done in Christendom. It was it was not what God wanted, but God wanted me to stay in there and get my tail beaten and wake up to knives in my face and my neck or be thrown downstairs pregnant. God wanted that, right?
Oh my
So
gosh.
understand that your story is unique to you. You have the power and the prayer, because I pray a lot for people that go through that abuse. And some folks don't even understand that they are in a domestic violence related or submerged, drowning relationship. So I would say initially evaluate you, evaluate you and how you show up to your world. Because allowing,
Mm.
if you are allowing someone to treat you less than what God would treat you and the love that God has here for you, and they are physically or even verbally or financially or emotionally terrorizing you, and it sounds like this, forgive them. They didn't mean it. It won't happen again. I forgive you. God called me to love. God did call you love. That ain't love, darling. Run. That's what I would say. Run, baby, run. And there are online numbers. Find your way out. There are secret signs that people are doing now that alert folks that they need help. There are smoke signals and notes. And I say it that way. I'm not being funny. Find a way, because I promise you there is one. That person that is telling you they're gonna kill you, that nobody else wants you, they a lie, 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 lie. And begin to pray. I am praying for you. There are many of us who are constantly praying for you and providing places for your escape. Trust God, keep moving forward. Say something. Jesus, say something. Because I had a situation close to me, very close to me. I had no idea. I had no idea. And you don't always know. Say something. Tell somebody. And begin to get the help that you need, because it doesn't stop there. And I will say that the book that I wrote is going to be instrumental for people who have stepped away. If you've just stepped away, that's delicious. If you're preparing to step away, that will help you. And of course, I did include story time. I did share my story in between sharing what God shared with me and the coping skills that I learned over the years, and just different things that can be implemented. But say something. That was part of my first freedom. And fight for you. Fight for you, and especially if you have babies, fight for your babies. Because I sat there like, y'all don't bump y'all head. There ain't no way, and up and down I'm staying in this mess. I'm not doing that. And I had to decide for me. I had to decide for me, and it was okay. I walked, and when I say the humans that I'm referring to, excommunicated meant over 500 people that I kind of interacted with weekly, and quarterly, more over the time there. I've served over 1 million people hand to hand. Do you understand? So it was not a idle threat. It was me walking away from everyone and everything I knew, because I had to choose life. And that's the name of a book that's really, really good. If you guys want a great book too, it's called I Choose Life by Dallas Cohen. Great book. Huh, great. So I do recommend that too. And you are the author of your story. You're writing it, make it good.
Amazing, friend. Amazing. I know that there's going to be some people that are totally going to be jumping on everything that you just shared. And I know that was meant for somebody. So my last question for you actually deals with the fact that I know you are a woman of action, and that you say you want to help people, and you're wanting to be an advocate for the voiceless, and you are. So I know there's some organizations that you partner with and you care about. So I wanted to give just a little bit of time here for you at the end to share about those organizations, especially for those who are listening. They're like, okay, point me to them. So tell us.
I do this very carefully. What I will say initially is Emmanuel Life of Hope International Ministries. That is a nonprofit that I personally am attached to. There's another one I'm attached to too. Just recently was asked to sit on another board, and she more deals with disaster relief. There are other boards that I'm attached to that I cannot say here because we need to keep them safe. So what I will say is connect with me if you need that help, if you need that resource, baby, slide into my DMs. Do it, do it, do it. I'm on Clubhouse. I'm on Insta. Those two I check pretty much daily. Facebook a little less, but I will check my messenger. So if you feel like maybe your messages might be seen, just message me Sanctuary, and I'll respond by sending you. I didn't even speak about Sanctuary, Jen. I forgot, but I'll mention Sanctuary, and y'all, hallelujah. And I will respond to you and by sending you information about Sanctuary, and then we can begin the conversation, and you can slide in what you need to slide in, because it'll look just like advertisement, and that kind of keeps things a little secret squirrel, Batman covert. Sanctuary, real quick. So because of what I shared with you initially, that lovely story about that incredible officer who tried to, you know what he did do? He changed my direction of my moving forward was in this direction. Boom, 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 boom. He was instrumental in changing my direction, but because of his foolishness, he has started a fire, a good one, called Sanctuary. And I have committed the next 3 years solid to building out a community that serves women in leadership roles globally. We're going to take 5 years to build it out to 1 million strong. So I'm not going anywhere after 3 years. Don't just understand me. But for the next 3 years, I am heavily harping on building a community and a space out for us, for women, because we take care of everything, everybody, the house, the kids, the car, work, husbands, all this, that, and the third, boards, and yada, yada, yada. We do it all. And when it comes to the moment where we face our burnout or we face our situations or trauma, a lot of times we are guilty of doing it alone. So we're killing that. We're killing off that overwhelm. We're killing off those silent spaces and that solo suffering. That's out the window. Come play. That's what sanctuary is all about, sanctuary experience. And I am committed to traveling to whatever coach wants to learn the model. You want to provide sanctuary for the women around you who
Mm.
operate in leadership roles and pour themselves out. You want to pour back into them? Bring me. I will come to you. And we will work that through that program and set in place in your area for your women. I'm not playing about this because we need it. We need it. We need it. We need it.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, my friend, for your heart for creating that for people, for not just staying in this boat of trying to fight these fights alone and having the vision to create a community of people that come around each other to show that you don't have to do it alone. I love that vision. I think it's absolutely beautiful. So thank you so much, Melikia, for joining us today on the show. I just love your love for your mom. It's so beautiful. Your love for your kids. There's no mystery how much you love them and care for them. And not only that, sorry, what'd you say?
I got grandbabies. I got three already here and three on the way. So
look at that joy.
oh
It's just exuding from you all over the place to this interview. But thank you for not only your love for your family and all of them, but for other people and specifically women. Your heart and your vision for single moms, the homeless, those who have been sex trafficked or have been victims of domestic abuse. You have such a big heart. So thank you for choosing to have a voice for so many who are fighting just to have one. You are amazing, my friend, and it was an honor to have you on the show today.
Thank you. It was an honor to be here with you. And I will shout out Unsilenced Voices. You guys check out Unsilenced Voices. You're looking for a place to support, to throw not only just words and visuals sharing out on your social media, but dollars. Tap in with me so I can share with you the wonderful places that I send my money to and also invest with Elohim because we are doing the work. I've been doing this work for years, Jen. And the crazy part is, and it's not even me. It's like if you ask someone my name, they might be like, "Who?" But the message you will know because I have gotten the message to 174 countries.
Wow.
And it wasn't me. It was literally God. It was like, "Hey, speak here. Hey, speak here. Hey, speak here." And all I did was share my story. Not this most recent story, but just the prior things. And God made it enough.
Wow. Wasn't that powerful? Do you have an overcomer story? Do you know someone who needs to hear this message? Please share this video on your social platforms and tag us so we know who you are. Stay tuned as we share more overcomer stories in the weeks ahead. We're looking for you. We're looking for the overcomers. Join us. Let's come together as the overcomers. Start sharing your story. We have multiple ways you can start getting involved and repping the movement, repping your story of what he has done in your life. For example, we've got journals. You can start writing your story down. Start getting it out of your head and on paper. We've got bracelets. Start repping that we're a group that are coming together to inspire people. We've got t-shirts and sweatshirts to not only remind yourself that you're filled with gold, but everybody around you, that your story is powerful. And don't forget, you can pick up a copy of Finding His Voice on Amazon, An Overcomer's Journey from Suicide to Success, an overcomer's journey which launched this very movement. And last but not least, if you want to learn how to overcome, visit www.dannyjohnson.com. That's my coach, and that's where I learned how to overcome. Thank you so much for joining with us today. We believe in you, and we believe in the power of story. We believe in your story.